Hey, listen up. All right, so hey guys, this is Robby Jackson. I grew up playing with him. Good buddy of mine. Robby, this is the boys. A little bit about Robby's career. Grew up playing in the Bay Area, Northern California youth hockey. Ended up going down to SoCal towards the end of his youth career, and then played in the USHL as a 16-year-old. Ended up playing Ivan Holinka for Team USA. Went to St. Cloud State as a true freshman, and now he's playing pro hockey in the AHL for the Utica Comets. So he's gone through it as a kid from California. He's done the whole road, and he's got a lot of good advice for you guys. So pay attention and listen to what he has to say. So Robby, I just wanted to start. We'll start out with the youth days, the Bay Area days. I wanted to talk to these guys a little bit about like what you were doing back in the Oakland days, back in Santa Clara, like as a AA player, what you're doing away from practice, and just all the different things you were doing on the development side of things at a young age, and all the time you put in as a young player, and how that kind of put you in a spot where you were able to reach the highest level at a young age. So just wanted to do that.
Probably like first and foremost, just shooting pucks in the driveway and like stick handling and all that in the backyard. Like, I mean, you guys have a little nicer out in Tahoe. You got access to ice, but like, I mean, we didn't really have access to ice like that. Coach Jasper and I growing up. So that was something we both did. And you guys ever seen Coach Jasper shoot a puck? That thing comes in heavy. And that's because of all the hours, man. Like we used to have competitions, man. We come back to the rink one day, hey, I shot pucks for like 2 hours. He goes, oh, I was out there for 3, and just pushing each other to get better. Just really any way we could, man. We both played multiple sports growing up. Like we'd hoop when we can. I played baseball. Jasper tossed football around a little bit, I think. And so that definitely helps, make sure you take your time in the off season and, get away from it, hang the skates up for a little bit. You definitely don't want to wear yourself out when you're so young, man. Like guys at pro hockey now, like once we get away from the rink, like we're done. We'll stretch, we'll roll out and all that, but we are like done for the day. So that kind of gives you an idea of how like it really helps your body and your mind to in the off season, especially just put it away for a little bit, go play baseball, play soccer, hang out with your buddies, do something active, but you don't have to be in the rink 365 days a year. That's 100% a myth, man. Like everyone thinks like, oh, all these kids in Minnesota or out east, they're skating 3 times a day, 6 days a week. Like they're just not. And if they are, it's going to stunt their development, and they're going to grow up to hate hockey by the time they're 18 years old. So definitely like in season and all that, do what you can. But in the off season, take 2-3 weeks, get away from it, focus on some other sports, and kind of develop all those muscle groups, because hockey is very specific muscle group development. And, the stronger you are with the different ones, the more you can handle some of the odd situations that your body is put in, like in the midst of a hockey game.
Awesome. And going off of that, I want to talk a little bit too about like you touched on, but just the hoops we had to jump through as kids. Like we're driving out to Vacaville, you're flying to LA like every weekend as a Bantam, like just how hard, like these kids, like they have ice 5 days a week, they got a rink that's like 10 minutes from them. Just kind of talk about like all the preparation and the commitment that it took for you as like a player from Northern California to get to that high level.
Well, like first and foremost, man, I'm jealous of the setup you guys got out there, man. Like Jasper and I, we had to, like scrounge the stick time ice slots, and we were on the Oakland website every day trying to find a time where like our parents could drive us and we could meet up and link to get on the ice together. So you guys got a little prep school going on in California. That's the only thing I wanted to do in high school. Like 8th grade, all I wanted to do was go to a prep school to play hockey. And you guys got that set up out in California. And I think some of you guys are local. Jasper was telling me. So that's a huge blessing. I hope you guys realize that and definitely take advantage of that, like as much as you can. We definitely had to jump through some hoops, man. like you said, I was on a plane every Friday, whether it be to LA or to Philadelphia for a tournament, Chicago, Detroit, New York, wherever it was, man. So we were driving down to Vacaville, like you said, getting coached by pretty much the only real skills coach in the area, which also Jasper and I both soaked up all his knowledge. So listen to Coach Jasper. He knows what he's doing on the ice.
Shout out Larry.
Yeah, seriously, man. Larry Kahn, who's trained some Stanley Cup winners and a bunch of D1 hockey players. So we both soaked up that knowledge, and one of us played in the USHL, the other scouting for him now. So Jasper's got some high level hockey in his mind. Yeah, I would just say literally be thankful and take advantage any way you can, man. Like if there's ice time and you guys got no one after you and the Zamboni guy's not kicking you off, stay out as long as you can and work on your skill, man. Or, go out, and I'm sure you guys got like access to the gym whenever you want. Like take advantage of that, man. Jasper and I, like, we would have to go run sprints on like the local football field. Like I didn't have access to weight training until really in college. Like in the off season, I was doing like prison workouts in my backyard, just doing like body squats and like as many push-ups as I could a day. Like really up until I was 18 going into college. So if you guys got like the gym and like the weights and bikes and stuff like that, make sure you're taking advantage of that, getting your body right. Because a lot of guys in the rest of the world, like you got to realize that was a rude awakening for me, man. Like you're not just competing against guys in North America anymore. Like you're competing for Canada, Sweden, Russia, like all these guys, Finland. Not only for pro hockey, but to get into the USHL, to get into college, stuff like that. They're coming from overseas and trying to play in the USHL in college too. So yeah, the setup you guys have is something I would have killed for when I was your age. So make sure you're taking advantage of that any way you can.
Awesome. So now I want to talk a little bit to you about, how it was for you playing in the USHL, and just kind of that transition from youth hockey to like more of a pro style of hockey where you're like, that's all you're doing, man, right? You're going to school and you're playing hockey. Like that's about it. And I just want you to kind of talk about your days in the USHL leading into college.
Man, it was scary at first. Like I had just turned 16 years old and I was playing against guys with full beards looking like Jasper and I right now. And I was terrified. These guys will rip your head off, and I was, 150 pounds, something like that, 5'9". Like I didn't have much meat on my bones because like I said, I didn't have access to workout facilities and stuff like that. So lucky enough, I had a good year and had some schools come calling, but it was terrifying, man. And biggest thing is I'd say keep your feet moving, like at all times. Once you stop moving your feet, you stop your momentum, you're out of the play. Also, if you're on time, that means you're late. I had to sit the first period of my first USHL game because we were late. Me and my roommate were late to the pregame meeting. We got the times mixed up, and it was just team policy. If you're late to the meeting, you sit the first period. So that was a rude awakening to higher level hockey. As a higher end player, I could kind of get away with some stuff like that, and peewees, bantams, midgets, and all that. But once you get to the USHL, you're in the same boat as everyone else. And yeah, I had to sit there on the bench and do nothing for the first period of my first USHL game, and that sucked. So punctuality is really the mark of a true pro. And once you're there early, you can take care of your business, man. You can do whatever you need, stretch, roll out, warm up, activate your muscles, all that. That's really when I first started learning like how to take care of my body. I would say it was the USHL because I didn't know to foam roll. I didn't know to stretch. I didn't know to, activate my muscles and really warm up. I would just get to rink 20 minutes before the game and toss my shin pads on and my shoulder pads and go and play hockey. But you can't get away with that at the higher end.
100%. And so then you went into St. Cloud as a true freshman. Kind of want to talk like that must have been, I think for you, in my mind, probably the biggest jump in your career. I don't know about you. Kind of talk to the kids about just like how crazy of a jump it is just being in that college environment, but then also just the game itself, the time management of having to handle a college education, your weight training at a D1 level, and practicing games. Just talk to them a little bit about just how, like, coming in as an 18-year-old, what that was like, and like how you kind of developed those skills over the course of your career.
Well, that's where you become a man, is in college. Like you said, you got to learn life skills, man. It's not just playing hockey. You know, you got to stay on top of your classes. You got to stay on top of, you know, your health and nutrition. You know, making sure you're drinking enough water all day, getting your homework done, all that. Like there's times you just don't want to do it, but you know you have to. And there's times you don't want to go to the rink. You know, like college hockey really gets glamorized as just, you know, you're playing hockey and you're scoring goals and going to the student section and all the girls are hitting you up after the game and all that. And yeah, it's great on Saturday night, but, you know, they don't really talk about what goes on Monday through Thursday when it really is a grind. And, you know, you're competing against your best friends in practice, and, you know, you guys are looking to tear each other's heads off because you're competing for ice time and stuff like that. So that's, I think you're right. Looking back on it, that's probably the biggest transition in my hockey career. Again, another rude awakening. Like, I was 18 years old. We had guys that were 25, 24, 23 years old on the team. And like they were skating laps around me in practice. And I almost thought about going back to juniors. I'm like, man, I'm out of place. Like this isn't for me. And I was scratched my first college hockey game too, just as part of the rotation with the freshmen and all that. So it takes perseverance, mental toughness, all that. But honestly, like, you guys have the setup right now and you have the resources at your fingertips that I didn't. So there's absolutely nothing to stop you guys from not only playing in the USHL, but playing college hockey. It's very doable, very, very doable. If honestly you just commit to it. You got to have tunnel vision, man. Can't let anything else distract you if that's really your true goal, is to play college hockey or play pro hockey. Like, some of it's gonna suck. Like, I didn't go to homecomings. I didn't go to any of my proms, like none of that, because like I was just on the road, or like I didn't go to school enough to have a social life to, you know, like find a girl that I could take, stuff like that, you know? So it really is tunnel vision, man. And that's something Jasper and I have been talking about a lot lately, like ever since we've grown up, and now seeing it's like we're both kind of doing what we love and still, you know, in the hockey world working. And it really does take an absurd amount of focus and discipline. And I'm only at the AHL level. Like, I can't even imagine what these guys at the NHL level are doing. I got to go to St. Louis's main camp last year, their main training camp, and see just the work that like Ryan O'Reilly puts in. They were fresh off Stanley Cup win, and he won the Conn Smythe MVP. And he was still the first guy on the ice and the last guy off it. And he had so many little creative drills to just work on his skills every time. And like I said, he would stay out until the Zamboni driver kicked him off. He'd be out on the sheet for, you know, 2 hours if he could, if not more. And that's the kind of focus and discipline. Then I'm sure he's going home. He's taking nicest car I've ever seen. Matt Green 2-door Bentley. You know, he hits all his bonuses on his playoff run. He's whipping that thing. It was nice. But, you know, he takes that car home, and, you know, he's hitting his massage gun, and he's, you know, hopping on the Normatex and doing stuff like that. So every move that these NHL players make is calculated. Just how can I get better at my craft, whether it's watching video or, you know, taking care of your body, or even just honestly going to sleep at 9:30 every night. Like, it seems ridiculous to us, you know, because we got to hop on. We got TikToks to watch. We got girls to Snapchat, stuff like that. But these guys, that's all they want to do is get better at their craft at hockey. And that's what it takes to make it to the NHL.
100%. 100%. Yeah, now I was thinking, open it up to some questions from the guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys have any questions. Yeah, you said, where were you playing when you got scouted for the USHL?
It started early. I was playing in LA and with the Selects and the Junior Kings. But honestly, it really doesn't matter like what team you're on. If you're going to these showcases and like playing in the tournaments and stuff, like USHL will find you. Like honestly, I didn't even know. And St. Cloud started watching me when I was in like 8th grade. So like if you're getting watched by the USHL, you're getting watched by colleges too. And that's we used to have WHL scouts at our practices, like down in LA. So it's a mindset where you get on the ice every single time you're on the ice, you got to assume someone's watching. Even if you know you're in an empty arena, you're in an empty rink and you're putting in the work, like you got to assume someone's watching, and that'll form the habits that, it will just become second nature to when someone is watching, you don't even realize it and you're performing at your best ability.
Awesome. Anyone else? Questions? Don, you got a question?
What was your biggest piece of adversity in your career? What was the hardest period of time throughout your career?
Good question.
The biggest piece of adversity?
Yeah.
I would say one, probably my size. Like I'm only 5'9", which looks like, looking at you, you probably don't have to worry about that. You look like a big boy. So you good on that. But probably, like you said, going into college so young and dealing with like I was still going through puberty, So like not only was like my body was still maturing, but so was my mind. So being able to kind of compartmentalize things, like being able to just flip the switch and all right, now all of a sudden, like all I'm thinking about is hockey. Like I'd be getting on the ice and I'd be worried about like what I'm doing in class or like, what like I'm fighting with my girlfriend about like this week, like stuff like that. So it was, it's tough to honestly be able to just flip the switch and empty out your mind. But I think that's probably the biggest piece of adversity, and like being able to deal with rejection, man. Like having to sit my first period in the USHL, I scored my second shift in the second period. I was scratched my first game in college with St. Cloud. I scored 2 goals in the first period the next game and was all tournament team. So like I got scratched my sophomore year. I got scratched for the 6th game of the year. I wasn't playing too well. I scored in the first 30 seconds of the next 2 games. So being able to bounce back from adversity and not adversity, but like rejection almost, and like being able to be coachable, take the wake up calls, and hold yourself accountable. So it's honestly the only adversity you'll have to deal with is stuff that you create yourself, because we're all going to get scratched, hopefully not, but part of hockey is getting scratched or getting cut from a team, or maybe like you really want to go to Boston College but they don't offer you, and you end up settling for Boston University, or you end up settling for Michigan State or something like that. So being able to take that in stride is another piece of adversity, and bouncing back from it. And like I said, it's all mental, because if you have the focus and like you put in the time and work with your body and game, the only setbacks will be like what you allow yourself to be like set back by. I kind of sound confusing and all that, but did you guys kind of get what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I got one.
Yeah.
What kept you going after you got scratched and stuff? And you've kind of be feeling a little bit down, like, man, this kind of sucks. Like, what made you go out there and score the first 2 goals?
Honestly, pettiness. If we're being completely honest, like, I mean, you got to find what motivates you, and I think honestly, like I'm reading the Tom Brady book right now, and I'm sure we all watched that Michael Jordan documentary. It's like you really do have to take it personally. Like I used that BC example. Like I wanted to go to North Dakota so badly when I was younger, and I toured there. Like they had me on campus when I was 15. They were recruiting me. Everything was great. And then one day they just stopped. Like when I was playing for the Junior Kings, they just stopped. Never heard from them again. And so every time that I like knew that North Dakota was in the building in the USHL, I was like, all right, I'm gonna score at least one tonight. And like I'd write on my stick, like show them what they missed, And then I got to play against them 2 to 4 times a year in St. Cloud in the same conference. I'm like, all right, man, like I'm burying 2 tonight in their own barn. Like we're gonna beat them. Like I hate these guys now. So for me, like honestly, it was spite. Like, all right, coach scratched me. Like he's never scratching me again. Like I'm gonna make sure he can't. So it's everyone's different, you know, but I honestly believe the great athletes have that, like that Mamba mentality and that killer instinct. It's like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Tell me I can't do something or tell me I do it poorly. I'm going to like work until I do it better than the guy next to me, and you have to play me.
100%. Couldn't have said it better myself. Any other questions, boys? Set?
I got one, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Robby, I was just curious, what are some of the practice habits? Like, you've had the privilege to go to some NHL training camps. What are some of the habits, you know, if you could elaborate on like the Ryan O'Reilly thing, you know, in practice that these guys have that keep them at that top level?
Well, right now, one of like the main things that our coaches are stressing too is that like we only have 100 days really, like in this season, this shortened season. So like you have to take every day, like advantage of every day. And the Tom Brady book that I just was reading, I just alluded to, is when he was, you know, at Michigan, like everyone knows, you know, he was 199th pick, all that, and he came in and took the world by storm. But like a lot of people don't know, like he didn't start at Michigan really until like halfway through his 4th year, and he like shared time pretty much his whole career. So he talked about treating every practice like a game. And if he was only getting 3 reps in those like he was going to make those 3 reps the best that he could. And then you get 4 and then 5. Now all of a sudden, instead of 4th on the depth chart, he's 3rd. Now he's 2nd, you know, stuff like that. So, and that's exactly what, you know, guys like O'Reilly, Tarasenko, Steen, who's the other one with the tinted visor, Perron, like those guys, watching them just play like 5-on-5, like offensive zone play or defensive zone coverage drills in practice. It is the best hockey I've ever seen. Like they were in mid-season form already, and it was 2 weeks into the preseason. So like they literally do not take any drill, any rep off. And also, you guys are in a great spot now with, I've seen some of the videos and all that on Instagram. You guys developing the skills and taking the time to do that. The higher you go in hockey, the less skill development you're going to be able to have in practice. Like right now, we don't do skills really at all in practice. Like we do like our team structure and our game like drills in practice. Like it's on you if you like want to take the cones out and stick out through cones, or, you know, work on your catch release and stuff like after practice. So like practice maybe goes like 45 minutes to an hour 15, but then guys don't get off the sheet for 2 hours because they're working on like their individual skills. Because I just like, you don't get the time to do that in practice, especially in a regular pro hockey season. You get, you know, you're playing Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Like there's no time to work on skills when you have to work on your penalty kill on Monday, and then you got to work power play on Wednesday, and you got to work on your neutral zone forecheck twice in that. So like like I said, take advantage of these skill drills and all that opportunity of development you have right now, because that's something that the pros do too. Like O'Reilly, like I steal his drills. Like I do. Like I'm out here doing the drills I saw him doing, because you got to learn from the best if you want to be the best. So yeah, do not take a single rep off, because every rep you get in practice is an opportunity to get better. And that's something that Larry Kahn drilled into me and Jasper's head, man. He used to yell at us if we went in and just glided and floated a puck in on the goal. He said, no, man, every single shot you take, every pass that you know, make to your teammate, make it crisp, put it on the tape, you know, fire that thing on net, shoot to score every time, because every single time you're on the ice is an opportunity to get better, and you have to take advantage of it.
100%. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you a ton for coming on, man. It's a blast to see you again. Glad you're doing well in Utica. I know the boys are really thankful, so appreciate you taking the time out of your day, and you know, good luck with the rest of your season, man. We'll be watching you and cheering for you, man. So
appreciate it. Always a pleasure, Coach Jasper. Fellas, it was nice talking to you, man. I'll be rooting for you guys and following you out from wherever the hell I am at the season and the off season and all that. My residence is temporary, but I'll be following you guys, man. Tahoe Prep.
awesome.